When I ask my friends, peers, and students how they're doing, they often tell me that they're busy. Our society seems enamored, if not entrenched, in the idea of being busy all the time. As the university strives to provide thoughtful education, it must look for ways to remain a relevant priority in the lives of its students. As a starting point, educators should look at the ground level to see what it's like to be a student caught up in the cult of busy. We took the time to sit down with a few of them to see what it's like. Tell me about your typical day at university.
Do you want to know every detail?
I wake up early, typically.
So typically I have like 2-3 meetings a day because of the various stuff I'm involved with.
I'm a pretty early riser, so I get up pretty early and I study and go to class.
I go to class and then I'll usually study in between, and then I have night class.
And on top of that I have a few classes kind of integrated between that. So I try to take some night classes just to free up my day for things that I'm involved with.
Sometimes I have hockey practice, sometimes I don't. I go to the gym, and then I study more.
Okay.
And then I go to bed.
And then I go home, and then I study. And that's my life.
So what do you do outside of studying? Like, what are your extracurriculars?
I do a bunch of things. I'm the president of the McMaster Social Sciences Society. I sit on the Student Representative Assembly as an elected representative, and I'm also on the planning team for a conference here at McMaster.
I guess a big one is probably leadership and like leadership conferences or like various conferences.
I do student government stuff.
And then probably the other big one is like sports. So
Like, do you have a job? Do you sit on a team?
And I have friends, so that's good.
do I sit on a team? What's a team?
Like a team? Like a sports team? Are you a member?
Oh yeah, I'm on the McMaster hockey team.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah,
How many hours a week is that?
We have two practices a week, and then dry land training, and then 2 or 3 games a week. So probably like with travel time, it's a lot.
So all that plus 5 courses?
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do it.
How do you fit everything in?
Well, I don't really.
No, I don't. I suppose I could do more if I had time. I would be able to complete more things or do things more thoroughly.
I'd say that like being busy is what makes me have time. So like the second I have a lot of time on my hands, I don't do anything.
I just try to get involved with things that I guess like that I really am passionate about. That kind of helps.
Okay. Did you think you would learn more if you were less busy?
Yeah.
Do you think that you would perform better and learn more in school if you were less busy?
No.
Like, what do you think would happen to your grades if you were less busy?
I think I'd have a bit higher grades, but I think that I'm happy with that just because I'm learning so many interesting things and cool things that I wouldn't necessarily learn inside the classroom.
It depends, I think, what kind of busy you're talking about, because if I was less busy if I could like do my course load at my own pace, yeah, I would definitely do better. And like if I could choose when my midterms were, if they all weren't on the same day. But in terms of like my extracurriculars and stuff, being busy, not having those things wouldn't help me perform better.
Interesting. Are you
Or I
learning?
learn more effectively, I think.
Okay.
Like I learn a good amount, but I could probably learn more effectively.
What are you learning from being busy?
That's kind of an interesting question. So I think that it helps me like with time management and stuff like that.
So I'm definitely the weird kind of person where I work better under pressure and when I have lots of things to do.
Time management, I guess.
Like being so busy, I kind of learned what I value the most in my life kind of, and like what I find important, and I kind of learned to allocate time based on that.
If you could have like a magical machine that presses pause on your day and then you can get a bunch of stuff done and then press unpause and continue with life, what would you do?
I think that I would definitely try to spend as much time with my family as possible. Just like I get caught up on the things I'm involved with. I get caught up with school, my homework, and I just don't get enough time to go back home and visit my family. I have a sister that's 4 years old that I'd like to spend more time with and watch her grow up. So definitely spend more time with family, and then also just more time for homework because there's never enough time.
If I was getting things done, I would probably read my textbook because that's what takes me the longest out of anything ever, and I hate it.
I would get like some work done, but I would probably like do more planning for other aspects of life, like jobs and stuff like that. Like I don't have a lot of time to do that, and like have more of a social life, I suppose.
I would probably pause life and do something that I liked. So I'd probably just like relax and, I don't know, read a book, hang out with some friends, because I don't get to do that very often.
How does being super busy affect like you as a human being? Like your wellness, your day-to-day feelings?
I am probably more tired than I would be.
Once again, it's kind of like a fine line. Like, for me to be mentally loving life and enjoying university and stuff, I have to be busy, but I think that I definitely have to be careful and I have to keep myself in check. And my dad is always telling me, like, God, like, slow down. What are you doing? Like, I'll call him and be like, guess what? I got a third job. And he's like, what? Stop.
Yeah.
And he gets mad at me, but so it's like, it helps me in a lot of ways, but it's sometimes there are those moments where you like have a breakdown. You're like, what am I doing? But you kind of just like, there's a lot of other happy moments that come out of being busy.
I think that's all the questions that I have. Okay,
Yeah.
well that's all I got, unless you got anything else you want to say.
Go Mac!
Okay, great, we could tag out. Sweet.